All right, welcome everyone to another edition of Deconversion Stories. And yes, I know it's really early. What the hell are you doing on so early, Neil? It's just to emphasize how early it is. But my guest tonight, Nick here, also known as Bi Atheist Ex Jew, is in Belgium. So we had to go a little early, so it was somewhat reasonable for him to appear on the show. We had to actually bump you once, Nick, if you remember that.
Yeah,
because some shit that went down. But anyway, we're here now, and we're going to get into this crap. So, Nick, what I do here is I chat with. Oh, first of all, welcome to the show, by the way.
thank you.
And what I do here is I talk with folks about their previous beliefs. And you're just like me. You're an ex-Jew. So,
Wait, you're also an ex-Jew?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did you come from a religious background?
Not super. We were what they call Reformed Jews. Right,
Oh,
so
no.
we went to Shabbat on Friday, sometimes Saturday, the high holidays, Yom Kippur, all that shit.
You know, we're both going to hell for this right now, just using our computers.
It's Gehenna, right?
Oh, like the tattoos?
No, we're not. No,
like
we're not.
The tattoos on your hand?
Yeah,
I'm just playing.
Hannah?
No, you're not allowed to. No, not henna. You can't. Shut up, Mikey. Jesus.
I was like, damn, he's not getting it.
Jews don't really have a hell. They have something that's, I guess, considered you're being isolated away from God for eternity.
There's definitely a version of it. I mean, I don't know how you grew up, but the way I was, I mean, there's 1,000 different versions of Judaism, right?
Oh, yeah. It's like anything else.
Exactly. So the way I was brought up is that most Jews, the max you'll get is 12 months, whatever that means in hell. And apparently
it's the super max.
So bad. It's that if you take all the worst things in this world, all the worst moments in this world of all history, put them together in one moment, it's not that bad, meaning it's even worse.
Wow. Jeez,
now, it can get even worse, though. If, let's say, for example, let's say you're an atheist, then you just stay there forever, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Non-believers are... Jewish hell equals family picnic in July.
With no fans.
Tons of, with zero way to cool down. There you go.
And the direct sun.
Yeah, it's shining upon you. So Nick, take us into the days when you were in that belief, in the Judaism there, and how like were you like? You weren't like Hasidic or anything like that, but
well, I mean. Hasidic, as I would say, because you say
Hasidic, yes.
Right.
Yeah. I lived in Israel. I know how to speak Hebrew.
I lived in Israel for 6-7 years. I only just came from there, actually. So I speak fluent.
I'm not quite fluent, but I can do conversation.
Arigato daimasu.
Oh, there you go. A real Jew
Japanese.
Here, huh?
That's Japanese.
Yes, I know.
So I would say that, I just grew up ultra-Orthodox religious. Hasidic, like I was saying earlier, they're also ultra-Orthodox, but it just depends on what you really wear. But in terms of like the actual practices, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So they just look more religious, but I grew up just as religious as they do.
Well, they got the hats and the payas and the beards and the black coats and
yeah.
You got a bunch of them here.
Like my brother right now, he is super, super, super religious. He has everything.
Uri.
Yeah.
Shalom Chavrim. Nice. Yeah. Okay. So I'm assuming that you went to like all the big religious holidays, like you spent a lot of time in shul and stuff like that, I guess.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it looked like you're burning up. See, poor Nick here. They're having a heat wave over there in Belgium.
No, I'm actually not, because I just kind of ran to my apartment to get here on time, because I just told you I came to meet with friends. It's actually not that hot in here. It's more just that I did a bit of running.
Oh, okay. A little bit of a marathon to get home.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, give us some sort of like, what was it like to constantly have to do that? Like, were you into it at the time, or was it something that you're just like you had to go, or did you get up and or and all the usual stuff that Jews do in their synagogues and stuff like that?
That's actually a really interesting question. When I first grew up, till about 14 years old, I basically hated it. Who likes to be in shul or synagogue for 3 hours Sabbath? Nobody does. Everybody hates it.
3 hours.
Yeah, in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
In the morning, by the way, because depends which shul you go to or synagogue. but you can spend 3 hours in the morning and then another 2 hours later in the afternoon.
We all reading the whole book?
No.
Damn.
Well, it's not that
Totally.
it's very long. It's just there's a lot of singing, and that's what takes a lot of time because you can, read one page and it'll just take you an hour to get through because they're just singing it in the slowest tune.
In a dirge. Just like, can we just get the tempo a little quicker?
I know.
I got school on Monday. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Y'all keep singing like this.
Rub it in, Jonathan. Rub it in. Oh, Uri with some more commentary here.
There's no God, but there's a lot of crazy Jews.
Yes, indeed. Yes. Yeah, I lived there too, buddy. I know.
That's crazy.
I was only there for a couple of years though, so.
Yeah, so I grew up basically hating it, and then when I turned 14, I basically, like, in my head, I just realized that I really needed to like connect with other people, because if I was going to go against a religion, I couldn't make any friends. I couldn't connect with anybody else. So I basically, like, my brain was like, listen, man, you have to get into this, otherwise you're going to be socially ostracized.
Right.
And so I basically kind of forced myself to get into it, which was bullshit, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. It's just, I can understand that, the fear of losing all your connections, especially with friends and family that you're close to, right? I was kind of concerned about that too. I didn't tell my folks for many years that I just didn't believe anymore. And I think it took my dad passing away before I actually came out to my mom that I said, yeah, Mom, I totally don't believe this. And she goes, you know what? I don't know if I do either.
Yeah. I haven't told my parents either. I have only told my parents that I like guys as well, and they took it very well. But
okay. I find it in Judaism, that seems to be not such a big deal.
Well, again, you grew up Reform, and I grew up ultra Orthodox.
Fair enough.
Very different. Like, in my opinion, I mean, you're not going to want to hear this, but I think it's basically two different religions. It's that different.
It is. And it's not that I'm not going to want to hear it. I agree with you. People that are on a more easy form of a religion versus people that are in a much heavier form of religion, they are totally different things.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Because you got light Christian, you got Christianity light, and you got Christianity fundamental, right? And you got Judaism light, and you got Judaism fundamental, right? So they are basically totally different.
I mean, like, for example, I'll give you an example. I mean, like, they don't even like talk about gay people. When they do, it's like a derogatory term. Like, you're gay if you do this. I have a religious brother who I now told that I like guys as well, or probably more. And I told him, I said, listen, before this time, he said, there's an exercise in the gym called, I like going to the gym a lot. And there's an exercise in the gym called hip thrusters, and it makes your butt big, basically.
Okay.
And so I told him I'd do it, and he's like, you're really gay if you do that, And
and
I haven't told him yet, but no, at that time I didn't tell him, but then later I told him. And like, things like another one that I heard, I remember, like, this is just stupid shit, but like, so in Judaism, only the wife wears the ring, okay? Like when they're married, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But so I remember I had this one rabbi who said that if a man wears a ring, he's gay. Like, what? Like, what kind of bullshit is that? And so
there you go. It'll just be you and screw the rest.
He's right.
That's what he's aiming to do.
in more ways than others.
Yeah.
In more ways than others.
Come on, let me show you a good time.
Yeah.
If I could only
Awesome.
remember some Yiddish.
Yiddish? Like, oh yeah? Like what, Mikey?
I was going to throw out an oy vey, but then I was like, there's
Everybody
another.
knows oy vey.
I was like, there was another one that they said, and then the.
Do you know what oy vey actually is? The full word?
Oy vey smear.
Oy vey smear. That's right. It's
What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that like translate to?
He's like, oh shit.
yeah, it's kind of like
Can you give me 1 second? I just got to plug in my phone. 1 second. It's gonna die.
Look up for number one. Says, "Oops, I didn't mean it like that." We know we're just making fun. Yeah, student Dr. Ben. Hello. Yes, we are. I'll just reiterate, Ben. We're doing it early because Nick's in Belgium, so it's like 9-ish there. So we're doing it earlier today, so that he still has some form of an evening.
The night is young.
That's right. Well, when you're young, I used to stay up like for 48 hours at a time. And my roommate, who's in the other room, could attest to that because we used to sit in Beano's forever sometime, which is a coffee joint. But
You're hopped up on caffeine, man.
Oh yeah,
They're
man.
sucking down espressos.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not addicted to caffeine.
Yeah. Coffee amateurs.
What is that, a Monster?
Yeah.
I look like it.
You know, I've
Yes.
had like less than 5 of those in my life. I think the 6th one's gonna give me a heart attack.
Yippee! I drink one of those and I go into cardiac arrest.
I'm like a hummingbird, man. I run on jet fuel.
I like the Rockstar Mocha one myself.
Yeah,
That's
they
my
guess
favorite.
I don't like the coffee stuff.
Well, that's
I like
okay. You don't have to.
coffee.
I don't know
Fight it.
how you could not like coffee. I don't know.
I drink coffee, but like coffee flavored stuff, I'm always like, I think I'll just have a cup.
Okay, fair enough. So, Nick, you lived in Israel. So, what part of Israel were you living in?
I was everywhere. I mean, I started in Jerusalem,
Mhm.
and then I went to another city called Beitar, which you probably have
Yep.
not heard of. You know
No,
Beitar?
yeah. Dude, I lived there too.
Beitar.
Beitar. We never went there, but I met one of the people that stayed on the kafar that I was on. Was
Yeah.
from there. Was from
Oh,
there.
that's
So,
interesting.
yeah.
So actually, it's a very nice little city, but it's super religious. And then I was in, well, let's see. Yeah, basically, I was in Jerusalem, Beitar, Haifa, or Haifa. For
Haifa.
about, Haifa
That's
was there
where-
for a long time. And
Where
Jerusalem was there
Gene
for 2
Simmons
years.
from Kiss is from there.
Yeah. So
Is it
Haifa,
really?
sorry, Jerusalem was there for 2 years, and Beitar was there for almost a year. Haifa was there for another 2.5 years, I think. And then in another city called Tzfat, I was there for another almost half a year.
Very cool. I lived in Ramat HaSharon. So,
Ramat HaSharon, okay.
Yeah.
I've never been there, but I've heard of it, of course.
yeah, there's some nice beaches down there, and they had. I was like, when I was there, I was a kid, right? I was in high school, so I did grade 11 to grade 12, and on almost every other night we go down to a little ice cream store. I think there was more than one of them called Manolitos,
Yeah.
and you could and they served beer, or what I loved drinking as a kid was British Shandy, which was like a ginger beer, and we used to just get pie-eyed on that stuff almost every other night. So. But I went to Hakfar HaYarok, which is means the green village, and I didn't know this when I was sent there, but afterwards I was told it was like a school for bad kids. So it's like they try to get you to behave better by putting you through all the stuff that they do. Like you have
It's
work, you have
bullshit.
to work. in
How
the
old were you
fields.
when you were there?
15, 16, 17?
So you must speak Hebrew very well then, no?
No, not really.
Oh, because
When you don't use it on the regular, it's shechachti el kol ha'ivrit sheli. So basically, I
Chaval.
don't really. I don't remember so much. Like if I put my head into it, I could relearn it probably pretty easily.
I bet if you were there for like a week, it would come back.
I have lots of friends there still that live there, right? So I could go visit. Yeah. It's a long flight, pal. It's a long flight. It's like 15 hours from here.
Oh yeah.
I'm not so far west. It's not so bad for me. It's just like going to Europe.
Dude, well, not really. It's still a few hours more than Europe.
Wait, Mikey, where are you based?
I'm in Chicago.
Oh, so you both are very far still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm only like a 4-hour flight, so it's not that bad.
Yeah, well, being in Israel, it's real easy to get anywhere in Europe. We went to Greece and Italy and a couple other places around the Middle East as well while I was there. I've also been over to England and France and shit like that. So I've done my tour of Europe. But I was a kid too back then when that happened. So
the grand tour.
Greece was my favorite, and England and Greece are probably my favorite places.
I think I want to check out Greece.
Greek people, especially the cab drivers, are crazy. That's all I can They're crazy. It's like they drive on the sidewalk down there, man. It's like, what the hell?
Hey, that's the guy that gets me where I need to be. Everybody should be like that.
That's right. Anyway, it's 16 hours from Canada to Israel. Yeah, well, from my end of Canada, it is definitely.
Oof. Yeah, it's a long flight. I know because I used to live in Baltimore for a little bit. From Baltimore to Israel, it's a 12-hour flight.
Yeah.
Oh Lord,
that's terrible.
That's terrible. I really want to go to Japan, but I just have no way of possibly entertaining being in a plane that long.
How far
Vacation
is it?
for
Must be like 20 hours, no?
Yeah, it's like 20 hours to get to like China and Japan and stuff. I'm like, damn, dude, I kind of don't want to go now. I have to make like several other trips, like go to like Hawaii for a week and then fly from there.
Speak more languages to me, you bandana yeti.
How do you say dirty in Hebrew?
Magil.
Yeah. That's
Talk
right.
McGill to me, Neil.
Magil means like really repulsive, though. I don't know if that's maybe.
Yeah.
It's too
Oh
strong.
no, not that one.
Yeah, someone say it's a Magil, I mean that's just disgusting. Is really more like what
You can
the
also say Ichsa. I don't know if that's
Ichsa, yeah. I heard that a lot when I used to like pick up a spider and like hand it to a girl. She'd be like Ichsa and run away, right? So, which is too funny. Anyway, I think I was one time I kind of had a crush on one of the girls at the car, and I picked a flower and gave it to her, and it had a fucking bee in it. I didn't even see it, right? And she's like, oh, and she goes to smell it, and this thing flies in her face, and I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, she didn't talk to me anymore.
That was attempted
Oh,
murder.
you know what I
Neil.
do with a girl? I like it's almost like like it's a thing I just do regularly. It's like a routine for me. I go pick out like a random weed. I'm like, here's my flower for you. You know, it's like a teasing kind of thing. And it was like, what is this? Get out of here, you asshole! And it's funny.
The things we do to amuse ourselves, eh?
It's funny. They love it though. You know.
Yeah,
It's like it's so wrong. It's like, why are you giving me a weed? I'm like, no, it's my flower. You better keep it. You know, don't ruin it. And then they of course like pull it apart. Like, oh my gosh, I was gonna get married to you with this, and now it's off.
Yeah, that's it. We're done. We never started, mister.
She just pulls out like this supreme airlocked case. All these like security things on there. She's like, and now I have you forever. She is welcome to Pandora's box.
Gosh.
What was like growing up like high schoolish? It seems like you travel a lot. So like what was like your like that in between phase between like adulthood and like the being bored with it before?
Well, it was a really rough phase. And I'm being honest, it was very rough for me. I was very unhappy. I was like, something's wrong here. Like, I don't like my life, you know? Like, I was never depressed, really never depressed. I'm always a happy person, but I was just very unhappy with life. I was like, something's got to change, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you know, when you're so religious, you don't let yourself think of other options because there are no other options. This is the only truth.
Well, in your mind, yes.
Figure out about how to make your life better within the system, and that, of course, never works.
Right.
Well, because of the rules, right? There's so much shit you're allegedly supposed to stick to, and
you're not allowed to doubt anything.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's hard to sort of remap with the way that you want things to be.
Yeah,
unfortunately. Luckily for me, I mean, obviously, I was in a far less religious version of Judaism than you, so it was not a big deal for me. I remember being a kid at Hebrew school and doubting even then. I'm like, this stuff just sounds ridiculous. How did the sloths from South America get onto the ark? Like, how?
Now you hear it, it's like it's complete bullshit. Bullshit.
They left early, Neil. Duh.
Yeah, God whispered in their ears about 7 years before he was going to do it, and they
just
started on a piece of floating wood and went over there.
Started paddling. It's going to be a long.
Of course, it's ridiculous to think that was even a thing, and I mean, and now there's so much study saying that they don't even think Moses or Noah were even real. They were just characters. I don't either.
I don't think so either. I don't think they ever existed ever. I think it's all just a nice story.
Yeah,
you know.
Some scholars are saying
it's not a nice story. By the way, let's just make that clear. It's not a nice story.
No, it's not. It's a genocidal story.
Exactly. Like I was just listening a lot to like Holy Kool-Aid. I mean, not really recently, but like in the past, I was you know, Holy Kool-Aid, of course, and
I know him very well actually.
And genetically modified skeptic.
Yeah.
And so I was watching
another video.
I'm like, this is a horrific religion. It's like, it's horrific. So I was, okay. I'm not going to say the whole story here, but basically, you guys want to hear? Okay. I don't know if this is.
Yeah, no. Give it. This is all about sharing this stuff, man. This is going to help people. So.
Okay, whatever. I don't know if it's so appropriate for this, but
Use your
I'll
best
just say,
judgment.
I don't know. I don't know if you guys want to hear this. Anyways, all right. You know what? I'm gonna try. I think you're gonna get a good laugh. Okay, so I was talking to a very good old religious friend, a very good friend of mine. Okay, and he knows that I don't really care so much about religion, and that I'm definitely more into guys, right?
Mhm.
And he's cool with that because we're just that good of a friend.
That's good.
And so because we're such good friends, we start talking about porn. Okay, so I ask him, so what kind of porn do you watch? He says gay porn. And now here's something I left out. He's getting married to a girl because he's so religious, and he's only 24 years old in like 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy.
And so I asked him, I was like, "Wait, so you don't like watch anything straight?" And he's like, "Yeah, I don't really like it." And I'm like,
Oh boy.
You're probably not straight. And here's the thing, like the way it works in Judaism, we're really going off topic here, but the way it works in Judaism is that you are like, I'm meant to be married by now. Like when I was already 20 years old, I was already receiving a lot of pressure to get married, and I only just turned 22.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so he's 24 and he's getting married. Okay. And so I think he's only getting married because he's pressured. But I think honestly, like what it was a crazy.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're definitely not straight, you know that. Like, and he's like, it was the funniest thing. But then later he told me, he's like, listen, man, but you should make sure you follow what the Torah or the Bible says, right? I'm like, yeah, I'll make sure to do that. I'm gonna go get myself a couple slaves and kill some homosexual people.
Right. Stone somebody,
wow.
throw
Yeah.
rocks at people
Exactly.
till they die.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's like it's such. I think for me, some people they break away from Judaism because there are many reasons why you can, because it's illogical or this or that. For me, it was just because it's such a fucking immoral religion that I'm like, this is just disgusting. I don't want any part of this,
Yep.
And the hilarious
That's
part is that
what I said too.
and then they tell you it's like, well, if you're not religious, where do you get your morals from? It's like, are you kidding me? It's like, are you kidding me?
It blows my mind that they don't understand that morality was around long before religion. Although religion's probably been with us since the dawn of humanity of some form, but morality didn't come into play with religion till years and years later. People
Exactly.
make decisions based on whether or not they're decent people or not, right? I mean, and it
Right.
takes good people do good things, bad people do bad things. It takes something like religion to make otherwise good people do bad things.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
a very powerful. And
I
so,
can't
like,
imagine it. I can't imagine a population of people that's a certain percentage gay just beating the shit out of the gays without the religious influence. Because if it was the same thing for people with like green eyes,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like you wouldn't just beat up all the green-eyed people you'd see just because. No, someone would have to teach you how to hate somebody for
Yes.
no other reason other than this book say so.
Yeah. Exactly.
yeah, 100%.
There are gingers.
Yeah. We're all humans, and people just need to get over all that fucking bullshit that they want to wrap us humans into.
Exactly
Just treat
right.
each other like fucking people. We're all people.
Yeah, 100%. I've become a
So,
better person since I've dropped religion. I can say that for a fact. I'm a much better person. Much less
yeah.
judgmental, of course, like much more accepting. And even to myself, like
Yeah.
when you're religious, you feel so much guilt. It's like you're just walking around. Like, I don't know. I mean, I know here's the thing. Like,
We
I
had
really
Jewish mothers. Of course we felt guilt.
but like you really are walking around like, when is God gonna punish me because I just have not been, because you're never perfect, and if you're not perfect, then by definition you're deserving of some punishment. And so you're
That's right.
walking around like literally feeling like you deserve to be punished, and it's a horrific feeling if you think about it.
It is,
And
yeah.
I don't even know how I put up for it for so long, and it's like now I walk around, it's like, yeah, my life's good, and I'm very happy with it.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're not living in fear of anything anymore either, because all that fear shit goes with the belief, right? So once
goes away.
you kick that aside, it's like, well, I didn't realize that life could be this great.
Exactly.
Yep.
It's so much. That's the thing. Is that they really catch you with the guilt. I mean, I think every religion's like that. Is that they don't let you
Yeah.
think for yourself. They don't let you think. I don't care if you're Muslim, Christian, Jewish, whatever. You're
Mhm.
not allowed to. And they'll tell you that. Yeah, you can question. Our religion is very open minded. But the second you actually start asking questions, you're going to go to some kfar, like you said, and go to where the troubled boys are, and they're going to brainwash you or try to brainwash you.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't. There is no questioning the religion. There is no questioning the religion.
Even though they'll say, "Oh yeah, we're not afraid of questions," but you actually are, or they actually
They're
are.
terrified of questions. Real questions, they're terrified of. Like, I remember being in school, being like wondering, like, what the hell? When were slaves ever like a good thing? Like you actually think it's okay to have a slave? Like what?
Right.
Indentured servitude, my friend. Indentured servitude.
It's insane. And I
Yeah.
remember
Either
also
way.
because I also
No,
learned
no, I
like here's
know.
the thing. I spent a lot of years studying religious things, you know, and like you're allowed to marry a 3-year-old girl. Like what? Like what?
That's like marriage version of dibs. It's like dibs on this one. She's 3. I know, dibs.
Yeah. And that arranged marriage stuff.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's scary. It's fucking, yeah, it's horrifying actually to me. So
Of
learning
course.
about all that stuff is literally what put me off the whole thing. When you grow up and and you hear the stories and there's no way this can be true, or that's horrifying, or that's just why, you're like, yeah.
So
Bye.
basically, the way it worked is that when I turned 18, I was in yeshiva. You know what yeshiva
Yep.
is, right? Of course.
Yep.
I was in a religious institution where they basically force you to study about that stuff. And I
Mhm.
said, you know what? I gotta leave. I'm very unhappy with life. I gotta just fucking leave this place. And that's when I was in Beitar, and that's when I moved to Haifa, and I had my own place. Within like 6 months, I was like, you know what? This is just bullshit. Because I had my own place and I wasn't surrounded around people telling me what to do. And but then
Right.
Or
the
what to
huge
think.
deal- Exactly. When you get to move away from people who are telling you what to do, just a physical space, and you will start to allow yourself to think for yourself, and it's like, wow. It's like,
Yeah.
wait, I don't have to like follow Shabbat, put on tefillin every day, do all that bullshit. It's like, what? I remember the first time I did it, I'm like, well, this is crazy. I didn't put on tefillin today, you know? I didn't put on phylacteries. I don't know what they're called in English, I guess. And when I was 18, that's when
What,
it
to
started.
film? You mean the little box
Yeah, the
things?
boxes
Yeah.
on your head. Phylacteries,
What?
I guess.
What
Yeah,
is
they wear
it?
they're little wooden, or sometimes actually I've seen them in plastic, I've seen them in metal, and I've seen them in wood.
Well, technically, they're made out of leather. They just look very boxish.
Oh yeah, okay, maybe they are all leather then. I'm not sure, but I think
It's made
they
out of
look
100%
that
leather.
way.
You can have a plastic case on top of it just to protect the leather,
Well,
but
that's
it's
what it
actually
is.
made out of leather. And so basically, when I was 18, I started breaking away from it. And over a couple of years, I'm like, this is all bullshit. But it took me a couple of years, you know. I'm only recently out of it, you know. I mean, it's been about a year or something where I'm like 100% out of it.
Mhm.
But
Do you ever
yeah.
get like a sinking gut feeling like, oh man, what if I'm wrong about this?
So okay, no, not anymore. But I remember like for the first weekend, I'm like, finally, like, all right, like I'm because like
Mhm.
I was like, okay, I'm not following any of the laws, but there's still a God, you know? There's still this, there's still that. But then I remember there's this first week, I'm like, all right, there is nothing, and that's it. And I remember for the next week, my heart was just like jumping every like 5 minutes, being like, this
Wow.
is crazy. But it was for 1 week.
Takes some
straight.
time.
Yeah, it
Takes
takes
some
a
time
long
to
time.
break that free.
It does.
I think it was a little easier for me because I wasn't in such a harsh version of Judaism, so I didn't have a lot of that extra baggage packaged in with it. But
Yeah.
Kaba box. What the hell's a Kaba box, doorknob head? You mean the Dybbuk box? Which is an old Jewish horror story, basically. The Dybbuk box. You ever heard of the Dybbuk box?
Of course.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
It's bullshit, dude. Don't worry about it.
I got one right here. You want to see it?
Wait, what?
It's real.
Oh, looks like okay. Sorry, no, yeah, I don't know. Sorry, doorknob head. I don't even know what that is. Yeah, no, Dybbuk box. They even did a movie about it and stuff like that. And there's all
Isn't
these
it
stories
basically
about.
a box with like wandering souls that are stuck inside of it, basically?
Well, I thought it was like one in particular. This like an old Jewish woman who was this evil lady, and she was trapped in the box or something. And people were selling it on eBay and all that. And some college students thought it was a joke, and they bought it, and all these bad things started happening. And yeah, it's all these little legends and urban legends and shit tied to it. But yeah, there are some forms of spirits, I guess, trapped inside of it or whatever. But we all know that spirits aren't a possibility, so let's not worry so much about that stupid thing.
Spirit Box is a really good metal band, though. They're so good. Maybe that's where they got their name from.
Probably, yeah.
They're so good.
I haven't listened to any other stuff, but
It's the one with the chick screamer. I think I showed you.
I know. Yeah, I know who they are. I just haven't really listened much.
She's amazing.
I like those heavy metalish bands that have the well, there's some that have the switch off singing men and women sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So and
You
yeah,
like heavy
some
metal,
of those
right?
pretty good. I do, yeah. I like lots of different types of music.
Okay, my main type is hip hop for sure. But when I'm at the gym, I
Nice.
like listening to every so often. I listen to like 3 Days Grace.
Yeah.
Early
Riot.
2000s rock.
I haven't really found a good. I mean, 3 Days Grace. I really like. I really like their music. But I'm not so into metal or rock or whatever in general.
I think you just like what you like. You know, if it happens to be a specific genre, whatever.
No, you gotta like what I like.
See,
That's
Nick,
the rules.
Nick gets it. Thank you. Someone finally understands.
Hey man, my religion. Nobody's ever done this before. I mean, hear me out, Neil. I think we can get rich like this. All right. You want to hear a really great business proposition, right? Only you and me. No one else is gonna know about this. Okay.
No
Except
one
everyone watching.
All right. We start a religion just based off music. Just music.
I think we'll be a little late for that because I'm pretty much people consider music a form of religion anyways these days.
That's true. Yeah.
I like where Nick's going with this. We can brand this, right? So they could be like, the first temple of post-hardcore. And all the post-hardcore kids will hang out over there and they have their beliefs. Then you have the Reformed Church of Blues. You just make, your own little thing for each genre of music. And then you can go to a service. It's a fucking concert. You can go to like a ska church and see a ska concert every Sunday.
Well, that's how they get you, by the way. The music, I in Judaism, this is very big. Is that the singing? I mean, music can make you feel a lot of emotions,
Oh yeah.
And so they really get you with that stuff, It's like you feel emotions, like, well, it must be God. It's like, no, it's just a really uplifting song,
Yeah. And they trick you and trap you.
Yeah.
The EDM cult, I think they should have their own wing.
Yeah.
Temple of the Dude. Love songs, nothing but love songs.
I like that. That's a good move.
Yeah. And Sonia says, if evil spirits were real, selling them on eBay would be so irresponsible. The doorknob head said, yeah, we could just put them on Amazon instead. Oops.
That seems more appropriate. From the evil empire.
Everything that comes from Amazon is evil. Amazon's is different here in Canada than it is down in the States. They actually pay people well here in Canada for Amazon. I was talking to one of the drivers. He goes, oh yeah, we get a lot more money up here than they do down in the States. So,
really?
Yeah.
That's because they take care of their people there.
Yeah. And they have packages up here like dental and medical and stuff that they may not always offer to Amazon employees down in the States. So, but we have laws up here in Canada that make it that way. So
we're just all grapes in a giant grape press down here in the States.
Yeah. But I mean, I use Amazon often, especially if I need something really quickly. Otherwise, I buy directly from, like little mom and pop operations and stuff like that, whenever possible.
True.
Yeah.
Etsy is great because you can actually help a real person who does these creations. Like for
really?
my little, yeah, that's all people sell in their personal creation. Like I got my little spider here, my little jumping spider right there, and I bought this little wooden sort of platform he can sit on. I got 2 of them.
You love spiders, don't
Etsy.
you?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah,
I hate spiders.
They're awesome.
I remember one time. Oh, this is a funny story. When I was still in yeshiva, this is a scary spider story for me. So, and in yeshiva, in like Jewish institutions, like so, you stay in the dorms, right? And these dorms are usually, I mean, depending on which place you go to, are usually not very well kept, and sometimes there's spiders in there, right?
Oh, there's spiders everywhere.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you know.
Right behind me.
Probably.
And so basically, I was about to take a shower, and then a spider jumps on me, and I freaked the fuck out.
I just want to shower too.
I brushed it off me and I jump away. Now the funny thing is, I left my pajamas because I was about to go to sleep, so I left my pajamas in the shower, and so it took me only about a half hour to calm down. And then I was like, okay, so I went back into the shower. I took the shower, and then I'm like, wait, where's the spider? So I'm like,
oh no.
could be inside my pajamas. So I take my pajamas, shake it out, and there it is. The spider actually was inside my pajamas.
Waiting for
dry
you.
off.
It was fucking waiting for me. Yeah.
It was an ambush.
Kick me to the side, will you? Where do you put these on?
Back in my DJ days, I was riding out with a guy we were training, and he drove because the equipment was already at this place. All we needed was a laptop. So we're in his car, and a fucking spider crawls across the dashboard, and he is driving on the fucking 50 miles an hour, and he's like, you need to do something. You need to do something about that. You got to do something about that. It's coming. You got to do. He was. I'm like, please don't kill us. Please, I will grab the spider. Just keep the car.
Keep it
going straight, please. Don't wreck us because you want to fling the spider off or something.
Dang.
I like spiders. I've always liked them ever since I was a kid. I don't know why I have
You're
some
not scared
sort
of
of
them?
fascination. Huh?
You're not scared of them? Like they're not gonna bite
No.
you or something?
No.
You ever been bitten by like a black widow?
No.
Or a
We have them
redback?
here too. Redbacks are Australian. I've never been to Australia, so
Everything in
Okay.
Australia. Isn't that the thing?
yeah, they got a lot of very, very venomous animals there. Snakes and spiders, especially. So, no, none here where I live can really harm you. I mean, black widow, sure, they might make you sick, but they're really reclusive here. You really have. I think there's more of them on Vancouver Island than there are on the mainland here.
I think it's just
So-
too cold for most spiders to
No.
really thrive.
No, dude, we got scorpions here. Yeah, there's
Really?
3 species of scorpions in Canada.
I didn't know about this.
They're all. I think they're all versions of bark scorpions, but we have them.
Please don't
Yeah.
tell me you like scorpions too.
Oh yeah, I like scorpions. When I was in Israel, they
You must
warned,
love it there.
they warned us when we did Gadna. They warned us that which is military training for you guys. Check your boots every morning and pick them up and dump them because the Israeli golden spider is one of the deadliest, or scorpion, pardon me, is one of the deadliest scorpions on the planet. So you don't
There's
want to
also
get
the
stung by one of
clearish
these.
ones, right? That are very deadly. The clearish ones.
Yeah, that's they're tiny and they glow in the dark. Like you can put a black light on them and they'll glow. That's how they find them when they want to get them for pulling the venom, so they can have an anti-venom. So yeah, they always pick up your boots and dump them this way just in case there's one in there, because if they're around and they are looking for a place to hide, they will climb in your boots.
Yikes! That's all I can say. Yikes!
Yeah.
That's why you never take your boots off. Just keep them on 24/7.
No, fuck that. Fuck that.
Take a shower.
Actually, in the
in them.
army, I used to have an old friend in Israel, and he was like in the special forces, and he told me there was like 40 days or something like that where he just kept his boots on just for 40 days straight. He didn't take his boots off.
Yikes.
Be full. He took them off. It just be full of spiders and scorpions the next morning.
Fucking hell, right?
Shane says he showers in his boots.
Hell yeah,
No, he didn't do anything.
that's rough. That's a
Did you do any military in Israel?
No, so I never became Israeli specifically because I didn't want to do the military.
Yeah, I was gonna try to get Israeli citizenship, but my parents were like, no, don't do that because you're gonna have to stay there and go in the army. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we just did the boot campy stuff, and then I went home. Basically, all of us that were of the age to join or getting there to the age to join all got these little postcards saying you could become an Israeli citizen if you come and do time in the army. And I'm, you come for the boot camp and see what you think and blah blah blah. And then that's all I did, and then I went home.
Yeah,
My mom was like, no, you're not doing that. She's like, get your ass back here.
you didn't want to do the army, right?
No, they didn't want me doing that.
You're supposed to learn a lesson. Get back here.
Well, you got to remember too, when that was around 82, 83, 84. And things weren't that great with Lebanon at the time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I remember sitting out in the, in the field, throwing the football around in the park there and looking up, and there's all these planes fucking zipping around. And it turns out that there was 5 Syrian jets that got into Israeli airspace.
Whoa.
You
And
saw them?
one Israeli pilot fucking downed all 5 of them. Had them
Dang.
all down. He didn't kill them or anything. He just had them down, and then they got booted out, right? So, yeah,
Really?
I mean,
Amazing.
oh yeah. Another time I came really close to Israeli military aircraft is we were camping out on a beach at Ramat Sharom, and I couldn't read Hebrew at the time, so I thought, we don't have any firewood. We're gonna make a fire. So we chopped down this sign. I said, "Welcome to whatever beach or whatever." It turns out it said "No fires on the beach," and the Israeli military guys in the jeep came up, and it was like 4:30 in the morning. The sun was just coming up, and I hear this fucking, and I'm like, "What the hell?" 2 fucking F-16s flew right past us, about 4.5 feet off the top of the water. There's water going everywhere. These guys fucking come by in their jeeps and they're yelling, hello, yelling at us. Fuck up.
Yeah.
Get off the fucking beach. What are you doing? You could have been killed by terrorists. I'm like, what? Really? Okay, yeah, I guess so. But yeah, it's very different there. So yeah, that was kind of like, wow. But those F-16s, my first thought was, oh shit. Then my second thought was, wow, cool. As they're going by, right? Because the Israelis take the F-16 and turn them into Lavi, right? Which is their version of the F-16.
I've actually had some very dangerous experiences in Israel because I lived in Haifa, and actually, you want to hear a true story?
Yeah,
well, I have a couple of them, but the craziest.
No, lie to us. Go ahead.
It's mostly true.
It's like an episode of Twilight Zone or something here.
Yeah. So basically, at one point I was living in an apartment above a synagogue in a very bad neighborhood in Haifa, and at one point it was a random Thursday night, and I didn't realize that any of this was happening. But basically, I guess I assume it was like some Arab kids basically jumped over the fence, which was kind of tall actually, like at least 2 meters high, and they snuck into the main area. They opened the window of the synagogue, which was underneath my apartment. They poured a bunch of kerosene in and lit it on fire, and then closed the window and left.
Oh no!
And the thing is, the synagogue only opens on Friday, Saturday, right? And then Friday came around. They're like, "Holy shit! This whole place is burnt up." And the craziest thing is that the whole synagogue, they have a lot of wooden benches, wooden chairs, wooden tables. And the only reason why I didn't become a huge fire and could have potentially put my life in danger was because they closed the window afterwards and that there just wasn't enough oxygen.
So it consumed it up really quickly.
It snuffed itself out.
Yeah.
Wow. Not very good criminals, are they, if they didn't think of that?
Yeah, no, they're probably I don't think it was anything professional. I think it was just some teenagers who wanted to cause some trouble, and they did, but
not as much as they wanted because they're dumb.
I've had some other bad experiences there, but I mean, yeah, you got to be careful. I wasn't actually now. Here's the thing: I'm very tall and not very big, but I'm okay, And I remember walking in that neighborhood late at night, and people would be scared of me because they'd be looking around, and be like, "Oh my god, who is this guy?" And sometimes stop inside, let me walk past it, and then continue walking.
So HR Johnson wants to know: did they think it was a miracle because the fire didn't actually catch?
No, I don't think so. I was in a more normal group of people at that point already.
Yeah, so they know how science works then.
Yeah.
Miss Sassy says, "Hi, Sassy. By the way, how are you? Say hello to handsome Nick and annoying Mikey."
Okay.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay.
Hey, Mikey, don't worry about it.
That's all right.
No, they've had this going back and forth for a while.
No. Takes one to know one. Just throwing that out there.
Just saying.
Game recognized game. Sassy.
This is my my second Timmy's today, so I'm pretty fucking hopped up on the caffeine now. So
is it actually that good?
I wouldn't say it's like the best coffee I've ever had, but it's got a good flavor and it's easy to drink. It's not like, Starbucks is kind of tastes like burnt. So to me, it's like drinking Starbucks, like it's a little bit of acrid sort of after kick, but not with the Timmy's, man. It's
sugar or no sugar,
nice and smooth. One sugar and 3 cream. I put 3 cream. I like my coffee creamy.
I go black coffee all the time. Black.
I used to do that. I used to be that way.
Maybe I'll change.
I got old. And my palate changed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, who needs teeth? Give me some sugar.
Sugar me.
It's funny because I actually grew up very healthy. Like I don't smoke. I don't. I mean, well, drinking, yeah, but like I don't. Like you know what I mean? I guess like I eat healthy in general. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
It's funny because I had a friend growing up who was very much into fitness. He wasn't a weight lifter, so to speak, but he did his weight training and stuff like that. And he was a runner and never smoked. He liked to smoke pot once in a while, but he didn't really drink a lot. He had the occasional beer, and he died when he was 40.
Yikes! What happened then?
Heart attack, I think. I think it was genetic, so there may have been that attribute in there, but still.
Yeah.
You just don't know when you're going to go. So enjoy your life. And if that's what you do for enjoyment, then keep it up, my friend.
Exactly. People are way too judgmental. Like I don't give a shit, man. Just enjoy your life.
Yeah. As long as that enjoyment isn't putting harm on others.
Exactly right. As long as you're having a good time and you give. And by the way, and here's another thing I wanted to add actually. When I was very religious, because this world is only like a preliminary to the real next world, which is the spiritual world, I was never really about enjoying myself day to day, like just having a good time, having a good time with friends and just relaxing and things like that. Now that I've just dropped all that shit and I'm just a happy man, I have a good time. I just came back. I was like, I mean, I wasn't having beers because I'm just kind of sick of Belgian beers right now, but I mean, they're good. but like I've just been having too many of them. But like I was just having some cocktails and just having a good time, and I just enjoy my life so much more that I'm not focusing on. There's a line about this is that religious people, atheists have nothing to die for, and religious people have like nothing to live for, something like that. It's some version of that. So we have nothing to like. We're just happy living moment to moment, just enjoying our lives, and that's what it's about.
Yeah. I don't. It's weird because when I was actually somewhat of a believer, I feared death.
Exactly.
And then when I gave all of that up, I didn't really fear it anymore because I know it wouldn't be something that I'd actually experience. It's
just a funny thing.
When you're dead, you're dead. You're not going to experience what it's like after you close your eyes for the last time.
Exactly right.
You're not going to know. So why worry? It's just one day you'll be there. The next day you won't. That in and of itself is kind of disturbing a little, but it's not. Because if I could, it's like on the latest episode of Orville, when they asked the captain if he wanted to live forever, he goes, "Yeah, I'd love to live forever, but or if you were immortal or something."
I don't know if I'd want to live forever. I'd want to go somewhere else.
That's right.
After 67, I'd be like, "Hey, I'm out of here. I'm checking out. It's been good, but I want to go somewhere else."
I'd if I could, if the technology advanced to the point where we could live a few thousand years, I'd be all down for that. I'd love to see what's going to happen next.
True.
No, I'm out.
But eventually,
Mikey's out. He's
like,
sick of this shit.
I'm done. I don't need
done.
anymore. We're good. And then, but if I could live a few thousand years just to see how history unfolds, that would be fucking cool.
Oh my god, it would be awful.
Why?
Just think about like the last 8 years.
Yeah, but who says that that's going to be a repeater?
I think the world's getting better, like as long as you stay off Twitter.
I do too.
I think the world's really getting better. I mean, this is the first time in history, like slavery's done. Like we were talking about earlier,
Well, there's still slaves out there, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I mean, in the vast majority of the world,
yes,
it's over.
There's less slavery.
Yeah, but I mean, the vast majority of the world. I mean, it's nothing compared to what it was even.
Right. During the slave trade.
Exactly. It's over. It's basically over. I mean, I don't know that much about it. And then people are just being treated, even forget religion, just poverty levels are just plummeting. Like Africa is in a way better state than it was even just 20 years ago,
Yeah, some areas for sure.
People are being lifted out of poverty at an amazing rate, which is amazing,
Yeah.
I think we're on the right track. I think we're on the right track. And I think a friend of mine and I were talking about this the other day, and we said that, a lot of the young folks today, which are giving up on religion, unless they're trapped in a family that is really hardcore. Most kids are, in the West anyways, are giving up on the religions. They're giving up on the whole hatred of one another bullshit that we seem to have carried around for generations upon generations. But that's sort of a little bit of a human condition anyways. I think we're sort of somewhat tribal regardless, but we're learning to be better than that. And I think that that's eventually going to become or etch its way into our genes, and we'll just be better to one another overall. And I think that that is compounding and it's getting better. It may not seem like that sometimes, but I do believe that that is what is happening. And I think that the future, as long as we can get a hold of this climate issue stuff, then I think the future looks promising, because the younger generations are going to be the people in power eventually, and they're going to be better people than their predecessors.
Exactly.
So
unless the people in Congress get the same life extending formula, and then we'll be stuck here forever. We'll have Mitch McConnell for another 800 years.
Okay, if we do invent some sort of technology to extend our lives, they're not allowed to have it.
They can't have none.
Yeah, but
We just ran out.
We all know they're going to be the first ones to get it. Or they probably already have it. As far as I know, Mitch McConnell is already 800 years old.
Yep. Anyone born
Boom
after
sauce.
everyone born before 1960 is not allowed to have it. Well, I just
Let me
think
guess,
that the
you're born,
60s
you're born
was
1961?
Right.
66.
Yeah.
You know, I was born in the year
Included a few
2000.
friends.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I'm in 2000. Yeah, 2000.
87.
Boy.
I was born in 1496.
Back when the Earth was still molten.
Yeah,
Neil,
In 1400s, it was flat. Come on, we all know the truth.
correct.
That's
correct.
right. That's right.
Correct.
That's right. They didn't have any mountains.
They were still putting in the firmament back then.
That's right. They were still installing the firmament. Just a minute. The glass blowers are almost done.
It came from proto Amazon, and the only thing that came with it was like a stupid Allen wrench, and that's all you had to put it together.
Phoebe says that Congress doesn't have access to the Queen of England's secret elixir. Good. You know, what is it? 4 more years and she'll be 100? I think she'll be the first British monarch in history to reach 100, by the way, if she makes it there.
I'm laughing about elixir.
Oh, there's Randolph. Hi, Randolph.
Hello,
Randolph and I had a conversation last night. He's my chauffeur once again to the airport. All right. Well, what do you say? I mean, I think we covered everything. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up at all, Nick, or can I ask you usually the final question that I ask people?
I don't know what the final question is. I'm kind of worried. The final question. What happens?
What happens after you die? No, I'm just kidding. Neil remembers dinosaurs, and I do, Paul. And Paul, we still got to set up your show, by the way. I sent you another email, but I don't think you saw it. I know I've been slacking, Paul, and I apologize, but we'll set it up. No, if you, what advice would you give to folks out there that are having doubts and questions?
Like in my background, I mean, I don't know about other backgrounds,
Just
but for me,
you think about it. Anyone that isn't stuck in some form of religion, like, what would you tell them?
first of all, okay, the first thing I'd say is that don't rush. It took me probably a good 4 years to really leave, 4 good years to really go from being ultra orthodox to being, all right, I'm done. And so the first thing I'd say is that don't worry about making your decision about who you are today, like it's very similar. I mean, it's not very similar, but some people were like, what am I? Am I gay, straight? Do I like both? It's like, who gives a shit? Just live your life and take it slowly. It's like, just enjoy day to day and you'll find out, it's a journey. So the first thing I'd say is don't pressure yourself into deciding whether you're an atheist, if you're this or that. Just continue, question yourself, learn as much as you can, read as much as you can.
Reach out to others.
Yes, reach out to others. But also I would say is that consider the fact that you probably aren't going to let yourself ask the real questions.
Right.
That's true.
It's not even other people. It's yourself. Your own mind will not let you ask the real questions that'll knock down your religion because you were brought up so religious and
not to question.
You're not even allowed to question everything. So just consider and realize, like from a third person view, how you're not allowed to question anything. And that'll help you question other things. It'll help you have an open mind,
Yeah.
And the third
for sure.
thing, I would say this, and this is the biggest thing for me, really, and this would really, really push me off. Like I was like, all right, now I'm really done with this. Is realize how immoral your religion is, because most religions, I mean, as far as I know, are really, really immoral. Like really immoral. Like I just gave a couple examples from Judaism. The fact that they're okay with slavery, they're okay with killing guys who like other guys. Like what in the world? Allowing people to marry 3-year-olds. I mean, the list goes on, you know. And it's like that with most religions, you know. I don't know much about Christianity or Islam, but I mean, I don't think they're very good either. I mean, like I said, you can go to
They're born
Christianity,
of Judaism, so they
Exactly.
follow the same tenets, right?
So what I mean is just realize how immoral it is. Like what kind of God? And oh, actually, I would just how do I say add to this is that like just look at the Bible and just read the stories and just try to make sense of what in the world is going on. How is it possible that you can come inside of a country? Now, this is after Moses died and they're going into Israel. What do? They kill everyone. Wait, no, I think except for the virgins. They keep the virgins. Am I
They
right?
keep the virgins. Yeah, that was I can't remember where it was that they trashed, but God told them to keep the women who have not been with a man yet.
Oh yeah, that's really great, you know, because they deserve it, right? They deserve it.
Yeah. Like kill the cattle too. Like what? What did the cattle do?
And so it's not just about the laws in the religion, you know, like about not being allowed to be gay. It's also just read the story. The story is immensely immoral. Like what is going on? And it's like even like God telling Abraham to kill his son. Like what? Like what is going on with that? Like what?
No, actually, just give me the tip of his penis. Will be good.
That's another thing I think is completely fucked up. Like what is with this whole bris milah? Like how is that okay? You know?
Yeah, and they bite it off too in most cases, which fucking floors me. Yeah.
No, they don't bite it off. Wait, did they actually?
They used to.
I've never heard that before.
Was it before they invented knives?
There were babies in New York that were getting
herpes.
Was it syphilis? Because
herpes as well, I think.
Yeah, because they
no. I think you're actually mixing something up. I don't know. Maybe there's another version of the story. So okay, so in Judaism,
well, they suck the blood, right? They get down.
Exactly. That's where they get the herpes or syphilis, but they don't actually bite it off. They use a knife first, and then they suck the blood off.
Oh, that's
it's all very vampire-ish, you know.
Yes, Queen of the Damned. Woohoo!
Mikey is like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, it's part of the process, Mikey. It's a religious ritual.
Now here's the thing: most communities don't do this, but some communities. Okay, so that's what I meant. They cut it off with a knife, and then there's blood there, obviously, and so yeah, they that's when they like literally. It's fucking weird, man.
It's gross.
And so I actually know I've heard of people online who have literally got. Imagine if you get syphilis or herpes, like that's horrific, you know.
Mm-hmm. As an infant, yeah,
at 8 days old.
It's really horrific, you know. That's another thing that I meant is like there's just so many things that are just horrific about the religion, and so that's what I mean. There's immoral in terms of the laws and things like that, and there's immoral in terms of just a storyline. I mean, just read the Bible. Like, what in the world's going on? And you know what? Okay, I want to add just one last thing because I don't know how long you guys can go for, but like the whole story is messed up. Like I was just reading about this recently. Is that it's like God basically creates humans. And he just keeps punishing them. Like what is going on? He's punishing them. Oh, you're not behaving. Punish more. This, that. Punish more. You know, it's like, what kind of good God is that? You know, it's like it's just a horrific monster, really.
Well, the whole thing is as he's omnipotent or whatever, like omniscient or whatever. So he would have known all this shit was going to happen ahead of time, but he went ahead with it anyways.
I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly. Or was he all knowing? Because he had to ask where Adam and Eve were hiding in the garden. So. I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't. None of it makes any fucking sense to me. So,
but that's the thing. You grow, and it's you know it's really funny when I look back. It's like, wow, I really believe this stuff. Like, wow, how did I ever believe this stuff? It's like I really believe that Noah's Ark, and it's crazy to think about because I mean, you know about spiders. I mean, there are a bajillion different species of spiders, and he had to get two of each type, right?
Mm-hmm. And so the termites that would have eaten the boat. So I don't know how the fuck he got the termites on there.
Maybe that's why he put the tar on the inside.
Well, the methane would have killed them within less than 24 hours alone. So,
fucking hell.
Yeah, I know.
The whole story is just unreal.
Of course it is. All the salt and fresh water mixing together, the entire ocean system would have been thrown out of whack. there'd have been nothing left. There would be no plant life on this planet either.
Also, here's another thing I thought was interesting. There's like there's very little archaeological proof of
There's none.
of the whole desert. I mean, okay, think of this. You know, if you have a group of people, a huge number, we're talking over how many millions?
40. No, it was 40,000, wasn't it?
No. In the 40 years in the desert after
You're talking about Exodus?
Yeah, no. So after they received the Bible, the Torah, they go straight to Israel, right? They spent 40 years in the desert. Am I right?
Yeah, that was the Exodus, though. They left Egypt.
Well, I mean, the Exodus was only for 40 days, and then they got to Har Sinai, which is when they received the Torah or the Bible. Then after that, they spent another 40 years in the desert, wandering around.
Yeah.
Until
that's right, and it should have only taken them 11 days or something like that.
Exactly. And they got punished because they had spies and the whole thing there. Okay.
Yeah.
That is seriously lost.
Yeah.
If it takes you 11 days to do something and you're there for 40, you are whoever is in charge of mapping, you're fired. You'll never touch another map.
Apparently God was confusing them and misleading them and stuff.
Well, I mean, he was basically told us, like, listen, you guys got to basically die off in the desert. So, but anyways, doesn't matter what the story is. They were there for 40 years, supposedly. Now, you'd think that if there are millions of people wandering around a desert for 40 years, you think there'd be some sort of archaeological evidence. There's none. You know that there's also no archaeological evidence for the whole book of Joshua where they said they committed genocide. I mean, it didn't happen because there's no evidence of that either.
No evidence of that either. No. Nope.
Lying.
Yeah, well, of course. Well, they're stories. They're stories, and most of them are supposed to carry metaphorical type stuff with them that you're supposed to learn from. But
learn from what?
Yeah, it's like learn how to murder everybody.
Like I don't know if you ever watched Jordan Peterson stuff, but like he'll take stuff from like Mickey Mouse stories, and it's like, are you kidding me? Like he'll be like, so we learned from. Do you know? Have you ever listened to a Jordan Peterson lecture?
I try not to, but yes, I have heard him.
Okay, yeah, I think there's a lot of. Well, I'm not going to say what I think about the man, but anyways, I think he's a smart guy in general, but there's a lot of problems. Let's just say.
Oh yeah, a lot of problems.
A lot of problems, and like one of the funniest things I think about him is that if you read, like, I never read his book 12 Rules for Life, but I know in there, and he talks about in general about how he breaks down movies like The Lion King and brings out lessons for them, and it's like,
I've seen some of that.
Are you serious? Like, but here's the thing: it's funny because you could do the same thing with the Bible. And so it's not that the Bible is a big thing; is that you can take lessons out of any novel, you know, like
yeah,
any protagonist, antagonist. You can.
Well, you see from here, if you act like that, you're gonna get screwed over. Well, of course. Right. Sorry.
And that's why you always open the door with your left hand, because as you see, this is when Wile E. Coyote was hit with the anvil for using the right hand.
I mean, you could learn things from Moby Dick, you know? Moby Dick, oh, well, now I know how to live my life.
There are lessons in Moby Dick. There's lessons in everything. Yeah, it is. Well, Nick, I want to say thank you for joining us for today.
Thank you. You have a last question for me?
No, that was it. With
that was the last question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, don't worry. These shows, it's all about. I mean, we always go off tangents and stuff like that.
No, that's good. I like that because I don't like talking about one thing for too long. It just makes me bored, you know.
Right, for sure. And I find lots of people are the same way. So we try to mix it up and we tell little stories about our past. And you and I have some commonalities, both staying in Israel for some time, and so we thought we'd shine a little light on that and have some fun. I mean, that's what this is about, because it can be pretty overwhelming to talk about this sort of thing. For some, anyways.
If you would have talked to me, let's say half a year ago, then yeah, it would have been a lot for me. But now I'm already just happy living my life, you know,
That's excellent.
You know, like I've really moved on. Like I haven't posted on my Twitter account in forever because I'm just a happy guy, you know. I don't even think about it anymore.
Well, you can interact with people that you trust, and then just leave the rest, just to put it on ignore. That's what I do.
But here's the thing, like obviously I really like the community and everything, but at the same time, I don't want to think about being an ex-Jew. I just want to live a good life, you know.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Then change your Twitter name to Atheist Bi.
Exactly.
Bi Atheist. Yeah, leave the ex-Jew part out of it.
Exactly right.
Because people can ask you, "Oh, were you once religious?" Yeah, I used to be a Jew. That's all you need to tell them.
I've actually connected with some other, I don't know how long ago, some other like ex-Hasidic actually.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, I should probably say their name. 1 second. I'll send you them afterwards. But yeah.
Are they on Twitter?
Yeah. That's how I connected with them.
Cool. Well, let them know first what I do and see if they're willing to even come on.
Yeah, you're right. I should do it. But I think it's in their bio anyways.
Okay.
Let me just see for
I
a
don't
second.
believe I've had an Hasidic person on
Really?
here. I don't know if I have or not. I don't think so.
Yeah. It says right in their bio, ex Hasidic. So if you want to hit them up, send you the
Well,
link.
give them a heads up. I was never
yeah.
Hasidic, but we have a place here in Vancouver. Vancouver in Oak Ridge has got a very large Jewish population, and many of them are are Hasidic or ultra religious, anyways, or ultra orthodox. At the Lubavitch House, so they have, anyway, well, we're gonna get into an after party, guys. You can stick around for a little bit longer, Nick.
Sure. Yeah, I have like another 15 minutes if that's good with you.
Oh, well, see, we usually take a break for about that long. So if you can't do it, it's okay, brother. You can always jump in any other time we're going, and you can.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to join later. I'm a busy guy.
Yeah.
Plus, we kind of put a delay on his date for tonight, folks. So, first of all, thank you for doing that. Just to come and hang out.
No worries.
But yeah, it's okay. Well, it's still going to be the Bi Atheist Ex Jew after party. He just won't be joining us for this because he's got to go live his life, and I don't blame him.
Oh,
but we'll still get together, guys. So that's all right, brother. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
Thank you.
With us, I mean. I'm so used to saying it that way. Yeah, you betcha. Well, hold on one real tight.
Oh, sure.
One quick sec. Thanks to all my amazing patrons. Without you guys, I can't do this. So thank you so much for everything you do. And all you guys out there in the chat. I love it when you guys are here and hanging out with us. Pretty good turnout for an early show that nobody really knew about because I only tweeted it like 10 minutes before we went live. So also, that's about it, guys. If you want to get into the after party with Mike and I, just let us know one way or the other. Hey, Ollie. Ollie's on a different computer, I guess. And until then, like I always say after the interview part, like the late great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.